which makes it only natural that the mother of the home receive the honor of welcoming the Sabbath by lighting of the candles. Traditionally, the husband recites what is without doubt the most eloquent tribute to godly women that has ever been penned. And that's Proverbs 31:10 through 31. It presents a divine challenge for womanhood, diligent homemaker, valuable helper, nurturing mother, upright, and God-fearing woman. The wife of noble character receives a reward for faithfulness because she is not dependent on the temporary, superficial, deceptive facade of charm, which is a mere outward varnish, easily scarred and marred by people and circumstances, and beauty, which can depart like an unfaithful friend to make room for wrinkles and blemishes. Rather, she crowns an enduring, satisfying fear of the Lord with a reverent and obedient spirit that makes her worthy of praise and honor from her family and the Creator himself. Homemaking is unique in combining the most menial jobs with the most meaningful tasks. It is a challenge to accommodate others without losing one's own identity. It is a demanding pursuit, but the fringe benefits are terrific. And I'd like to read what William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, said about his own wife, Catherine, at the time of her death. He says, "To me, she has been made of God, never failing sympathy, reliable wisdom, and unvarnished truth. In short, all that is noble and good, and consequently a tower of strength, a mine of wealth, and an overflowing fountain of comfort and joy." When we look at this type of description of godly women, and I'm sure there are many that we can reflect on, this portion of a wife of noble character is something to find. How much more worth is she than rubies or things that we place great value on? But I do think that one of the things that is so important, and Donna brought it out, it's one of the pillars that you spoke of, and that is trust. It's an amazing element in the love combination. Her husband has full confidence in her. I think today women have to be placed in a position of higher esteem than society has put them in. I think women have been manipulated. I think they have been in many ways denigrated. And I believe that they have fallen short of what God really wants to bring out in them, not because they desired it, but because society placed those types of demands on them. So to be able to talk with godly women of all ages is such a blessing because it teaches men how to really respect what the Lord has created and placed for us to be completed by. I know I can speak only in reference to a few women. One, my own wife. I can watch what she does, not as much just what she says, but what she does, how she reaches out to the poor, how she helps the needy, how she's always extending herself to someone else before she thinks of her own needs. That is a compliment that I can make to godly women. And I can also say that in the women that I have come to know, in Donna's case, I have seen in a quiet manner a way that she epitomizes what a godly woman is from the vantage point of how she takes care of her household, what she actually does methodically that in some cases goes unnoticed, but I know is greatly appreciated. Donna, I just want to know for our purposes, and I want you to know how much we appreciate what you do in your own household. And I know it's not easy. I know that it is in many ways a very trying and difficult task. But I also want you to know that you have a husband who is perhaps more supportive of you than you realize, because he expresses things in a way that places him in a perspective with other people. He's very pronounced in what he says, very direct, but I'm sure that he shows you the type of love and respect that is described as a husband loving his wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. I really believe that your marriage relationship has gone through many, many trials. You've gone through physical trials, and you've gone through spiritual trials, and you've probably experienced more than what perhaps some other marriages have. But in that, my prayer is that you've grown closer together and that you've been drawn closer to the Lord. Your part, Donna, in being able to exemplify what a godly woman is in a home is so vital. And I commend you for it. I think that this is a part of what we need to be able to express more, not just on Mother's Day once a year, and not just on the time. I read something just recently, and I don't mean to be repetitive, but I read something recently that it said that all women are not mothers, but it says all mothers are women. And I thought about that for just a moment, and it made me reflect on my own mother and mothers throughout all time. What you endure just in childbirth. Believe me, if men were tasked with the birthing of children, the human race would have become extinct thousands upon thousands of years ago. Men could not sustain that type of pain. And I know that. I know that God has endowed women with the ability to sustain pain in a way that men perhaps could not even conceive. But yet, out of that pain and out of that experience, such beauty comes forth in the birth of a child. And I think that that's something that can be shared. And I realize that it's not something that is easily understood. I believe women communicate it far better than men do. But I want you to know you are definitely appreciated. And I'm going to stop and just allow you to just comment on how you feel about what we've discussed to this extent, how God has helped you fulfill the calling that he has on your life as a godly woman.
Wow. That's absolutely beautiful. Everything that you said, it just makes me, just as I'm sitting here, appreciate so much being a woman, a godly woman. And just the words that you have said has just uplifted me so much. I have a surrounding group of women that are godly women, my sisters. We've learned so much from each other, and I'm trying to share more with my daughter. And then I have a husband that probably believes in me more than I believe in myself sometimes. And sometimes he probably does push me a little more than I want to be pushed, but I believe what you said. He honors and he respects me so much. And in fact, that's one of the things that he said attracted him to me is just the respect he had and the respect that I sort of demand for myself. When I was reading Proverbs, the Proverb woman, I look at these verses not so much to imitate this, because I mean this woman is, incredible. I mean, there's no way that one person could cover all this that she talks about, or it's talked about in the verses. But I feel like the best I can be is what God wants me to be. And it just gives me so much inspiration when I read about the proverb woman. We have to look to God. That's what I do. I have to look to God to perfect me in what he wants me to be. Because you're right, the world, social media, just what's going on out there is not where the answers are in being the woman, the godly woman that we're meant to be. It only comes from the Lord, and it only comes when you seek it. All women have gotten in, maybe caught up a little bit in just looks or fashion, but that goes away. I mean, you don't get that for the rest of your life, your looks. I mean, it has a lot to do with what's on the inside. And that's where I try to keep my thoughts is, it doesn't matter what other people think. It's what God values me as, what he values me. So for me, for the start of even trying to be a godly woman, I have to start my day in the Word with him. It's the most important part of my day, the meditation and the time of just giving it to him, letting all those fleshly thoughts and anxieties and worries just hand it over to him, because it's just too much to carry. And don't do it perfect. There's days that it's very difficult, but I always know that's where my rock is. That's where my solid rock is to go to him. Because trying to figure it out in this world, nothing really makes much sense until you know that you have to go to the Lord. I mean, there's some of the pillars of character is pretty much how I try to live my life. Like you said, trust. Being trustworthy, for people to be able to depend on me, my husband depend on me, my family, my parents. To me, that's always been pretty top priority in my life. Just knowing if somebody needs me or somebody needs to talk to me, I'm going to be there. I'm certainly going to be there. And ever since I was a little girl, just the responsibility in the home, just watching my mother and her mother and my friends' mothers, just taking that whole role of being in the home and having a nice home, a comfortable home, a clean home, an organized home for your